that was sexually harassed for years. Years. Bullied, intimidated, sexually harassed for years. And I'm gonna be painted as the villain because y'all have deified this person. He tries to shake and grab your equipment.
Given how bad things are becoming, I can only assume that Diddy's legal staff wishes they had never taken him on as a client. It has now been revealed by Diddy's freak-off escort that Diddy mistreated Christian Keyes and attempted to make him his boy toy. This is intriguing because in 2023, Christian publicly stated that a millionaire Hollywood mogul had reportedly attempted to assault him and put him in an awkward situation. Although he didn't explicitly identify the individual, he provided us with enough hints to lead us to believe it was Diddy, but we haven't received any concrete proof until now. Let's get into the drama. Keyes didn't hold anything back, and this is going to be a mess. You already know that Diddy's trial is not going well if you have been watching it. He has been subjected to harsh criticism and a compelling case from the prosecution. When they brought in one of Diddy's former escorts who took part in those freak-offs, things became really nasty. The Punisher, whose real name is Charlie Hayes, had a lot to say. He said it all started in 2012 when Diddy and Cassie engaged him to choreograph an exotic dance. When the prosecution questioned him, things swiftly spiraled out of control. He described to me his initial meeting with Cassie, including her appearance, her actions, and the events that transpired. He claimed that she was wearing a wig and had nothing underneath in the bathroom. I was expecting a crowd, but I was mistaken. The room was softly illuminated with electric candles and basins of water filled with bottles of baby oil, and she told me that she and her husband planned to use the oil to create a scene. I could only see her husband's eyes, which are what a Muslim woman wears, even though she told me not to stare at him when he came out. He had an astroglide bottle as well. He responded as follows to the prosecution's question on how the encounter ended beside him in the same room. When she came back, she asked whether I wanted to finish, and I said, no. If they were happy, I was happy. When they asked for a sexy scene, I knew it would be more baby oil and a sexy atmosphere. Mr. Combs would direct, and he might say, sit forward and move the camera, she added, adding that he had done the same thing 8 or 12 times with Diddy and Cassie. I was contacted at 5 or 7 o'clock in the evening. Things really started to change at this point because he began to explain the specifics of how those alleged freakouts would proceed. He once said, I like this when the prosecutor asked how much baby oil they used, as you may remember, and he dropped a stack of money. He responded, a lot. When asked how long the freak-offs lasted, our goal was to be as sparkling as we could. He continued, there was a lot of waiting, maybe 40 minutes or so, and I was supposed to finish in a specific spot. He said that Cassie would depart with Mr. Combs for 10 or 15 minutes after the freak-off was over, return in a bathrobe, and give me $2,000 or $1,200 in cash. As a result, he did not hesitate to spill the tea, and the prosecution did not take long till we were shocked when he revealed that Christian Keyes was one of the men Diddy allegedly forced to take part in freak-offs. This led him to other freaks of participants. Although he is very open to performing a lot of strange and kinky things in the bedroom, he stated that forcing a reluctant partner to participate is not something he enjoys. But he said that once, during one of the freakouts, while he was supposedly drunk, he boasted about exploiting younger men in the business, and when the Punisher claims to remember Diddy bragging about a number of names, including Christian Keyes. This is an intriguing development since in 2023, Christian came out and disclosed that he had allegedly been taken advantage of by a strong man in the industry. This is because, even before Cassie's lawsuit, there was a lot of suspicion that Diddy was preying on younger men in the industry. The issue with Diddy and all of these essay accusations is that anytime someone discusses being essayed by a significant industry person, his name practically always comes up first. Hollywood, he will always have that suspicion hanging over him, whatever the judicial outcome. Sometimes with good reason, and other times just because his name has come to represent this sort of nonsense, which is precisely what has been going on with the Christian Keyes case from the start. Even when there isn't a clear connection, people can't help but guess because of how badly his reputation has been damaged. It's not like he's engaged in every instance broke. For those of you who haven't been following the Christian Keyes controversy, please take a seat and settle in because the information I'm going to share is hot in 2023. Everyone is now side-eyeing the situation. People started bringing up Diddy right away, blaming him for pressuring Christian into one of his infamous freakouts. When Christian Keyes decided it was time to express his mind, he went live on Instagram and disclosed for the first time that a millionaire with ties to the Hollywood business had questioned him. It was really amazing to watch him reveal something so personal and challenging on such a big stage. Many individuals, and it led to a great deal of debate and speculation regarding the identity of the unidentified billionaire. To be clear, Christian wasn't a newbie trying to make an impression. He's been in the business for a long time and has built a strong name, particularly in the black entertainment sector. Even though he may not always be in the limelight, he is one of those performers who constantly does well in the business and is clearly doing well for himself. He has had an impact even if he isn't trending, and that's exactly what made his revelation so powerful. He wasn't just speaking up to get publicity. He was finally advocating for, according to Christian, the claimed incident occurred approximately 15 years ago, and people paid attention. He claims that despite the billionaire's attempt to assail him, he was able to repel it and prevent it from getting worse. But it didn't stop there just because he protested. Christian was very clear from the start that this wasn't about money. So he made sure to swiftly put a stop to those rumors before anyone made snap judgments and accused him of just seeking money or attempting to do a cash grab. Christian said that even after their first meeting, the billionaire kept coming up to him, demanding and harassing him. Advantage for him if Christian was going to come forward and name people. He made it plain that he wasn't going to do it through gossip or social media drama alone. Instead, he meant to take it seriously by going to the authorities and letting the appropriate legal channels handle it. For Christian, this was about responsibility and ensuring that justice was done, not about making money or getting attention. He had no intention of pursuing a civil case, was not seeking a settlement, and had no desire to use this as a means of generating income or attention.
Years, bullied, intimidated, actually harassed for years. And I'm gonna be painted as the villain because y'all have deified this person. And some of the people that you think are your mentors are literally and figuratively just trying to...
Christian's choice to pursue the matter with the authorities could result in a criminal probe against the billionaire, so this is definitely an interesting move. But since the claimed incident happened almost 15 years ago, it's likely that the statute of limitations has already passed, making it impossible to file criminal charges against the millionaire. This complicates matters. Christian, however, has a very high likelihood of being called to testify because Diddy is presently on trial and the charges against him are serious. Christian added that the harassment continued after the first meeting and continued for some time, so even though the original essay might be too old to charge, the continuance could keep the case alive legally. There is a chance that charges will be filed if the harassment takes place more recently. There are numerous legal subtleties in this complicated case. Christian appeared more interested in exposing this person and possibly destroying their career than he was in pursuing financial gain or becoming involved in legal issues. Christian also gave a horrifying description of a particular instance, where he said that this individual had gotten him intoxicated during a home party. Christian claims that the billionaire tried to attack him after getting him intoxicated. There was a pattern of manipulation involved, which added to the gravity of the situation. It wasn't just about one instance. In all honesty, he didn't care about the repercussions of sharing his story because he wanted others to know precisely what kind of person they were dealing with, regardless of how messy or detrimental it would be for the billionaire involved.
Because he says it's safe. Because I know I'm bad, so I'm after a big party. Won't say what type, won't say where. So you spaz out, push him out, like what the f***? get ready to leave, he apologizes, blame it on the alcohol. And you try to forgive him. So you're like, all right, man, all right, I'm gone. You shake his hand on the way out, and he tries to grab you. He tries to shake and grab your equipment. And you spaz even more. You're like, what the f you doing, man? What the f? Oh, my bad. So you go to leave, he tries to do it again. Now, at that point, my only regret is not breaking multiple bones in this person's face. Like beating.
Another unsettling occurrence he disclosed was a man who showed up at his residence and offered him $100,000 to watch him strip. The fact that the man merely wanted to sit back and watch Christian undress rather than engage in any kind of intimacy or closeness with him was even more disturbing. Christian felt used and objectified in this unusual and uncomfortable circumstance, which only exacerbated the billionaire's alleged strange and dominating conduct.
Our man offered me $100,000 to take my clothes off. He said, I don't even need to touch you. I just want to see you naked. I declined.
This also reminds me of Diddy's freakouts and the claims that another escort, Daniel Phillip, claimed Diddy would sometimes want to observe while some strange things were going on. Some accounts claim that Diddy would make him do specific things to Cassie while he looked on. We were not very good at that at all, Combs said after guiding Phillip and Vento through a role-playing exercise. Phillip also said that whenever he met with Ventura and Combines would often instruct Phillip and Vento to apply extra baby oil and Astroglide lubricant to the table, oil on one another, and he would instruct Phillip on where to finish and when. In Phillip's description of Combs, he was always sitting in the corner touching himself. On one occasion, when Phillip faked to complete after Combs instructed him to do so inside Ventura, the reports also stated that Combs had recorded him having sex with Ventura on a cell phone and camera. After bringing Ventura into the bedroom, Combs kept asking Phillip if he was sure he was done. It backs up Christian's assertion that after seeing him nude, the millionaire made an offer of $100,000. Yes, that is, to put it mildly, strange. Christian never revealed the name, but he left some powerful clues that have admirers acting as amateur detectives to attempt to identify the person. His assertion that the individual was a black millionaire in Hollywood, for instance, drastically decreased the number of black millionaires in that community. Christian added that the individual is recognized for giving back and being a philanthropist to the black community with kindness. The person even supports HBCU, a historically black college and university, he said. This detail is quite specific. People are still wondering who the accusers are, and these clues have only served to fuel rumors. In the short months prior to Christian making his charges public, fingers swiftly started pointing toward Diddy again. Diddy made headlines when he donated $1 million to HB and Jackson State University. CU people think Christian added the information about the billionaire donating back to HBCU because Diddy is the only black billionaire in Hollywood who is known to have recently made a public donation to one of these institutions. This donation attracted a lot of attention. Yes, things were undoubtedly starting to come together as everyone was blaming him and making connections. Christian, though, had more to say. He added that he had made the decision to always bring secret recording devices to meetings with the billionaire as a result of everything that had occurred to him. If he ever felt the need to come out in public or pursue justice through the legal system, this was not a hasty decision. Rather, it was a way to protect himself and get solid evidence. Having those recordings may provide unquestionable proof of what had happened behind closed doors, and Christian knew he was up against a strong foe.
On me since '05, whether it's a keychain recorder or a pen, because most predators would check your phone. And once the sexual harassment started, I was like, well, I gotta protect me, because I'm saying no, and I don't want this person, as powerful as they are, to try to get in the way of my work. So I started recording. So I have them offering me money to take my clothes off. I have recordings when I wasn't working with them or for them. I have recordings of them confessing that, the other guys that they have.
He claims that the tapes which would prove that he is telling the truth are still with him. For example, some people have come out to support him, but this is a pretty complex situation. You promised to come forward one day when we first met, maybe 15 years ago, and you did. You have my utmost pride. Don't be hard on yourself. For waiting, it's hard, especially for men. I am aware that it is frightening, wrote Claudia Jordan. Congratulations for not going along to get along and for being able to look at yourself in the mirror when you shave in the morning. She continued, your bravery will rescue other men and women and make them feel heard. I adore you, buddy. Although it was uncomfortable and unfamiliar, you were successful. As your friend, I will stand by you since I know it's true because it's the same tone, feel, and tale you told me back in 2008. This doesn't seem to be advantageous for Diddy, especially because Christian claims to still have the receipts for the talks he had with the tycoon. But since Christian will be gone for a very long time, Diddy might want to have special jail jumpsuits produced for him if it turns out that the prosecutors are attempting to pressure him into testifying.